The liver is self-cleaning, right? Our organs are kind of
Mhm.
self-detoxing. We have our main detox pathways. Again, first, if you're going to remember anything, your colon, your bowels. So that is the first thing we want
Pooping.
to defecate every day. We want to poop every single day, at least
Number
I
one
would say once a
expense.
day. That's pretty much the goal, especially if you're female. And then you also urinate. So your kidneys will get rid of water soluble
Mhm.
things. So our liver, again, will stick things to water and then that will leave through the kidneys. You also have your skin. So your skin will release toxins. You'll sweat them out. Your pores are another detox pathway. And
Mhm.
so are your lungs. So your
Ah.
lungs will also get rid of things. You can breathe things out and respirate things out like gases and other things that are produced by microbes and other functions in the body. So your body wants to self clean. I
Mhm.
think it's just making sure there's nothing hindering that flow. So eating enough fiber is really essential and kind of, I guess, cleaning the liver out, if you want to call it that, just helping the liver with its natural daily detox. So eating fiber, the liver will stick things to fiber. Bile will attach to fiber. Different toxins will
Mm.
attach to fiber. Hormones and cholesterol will attach themselves to fiber. So make sure you're getting enough fiber in your diet. Both types of fiber, that broom type of insoluble fiber that kind of pushes things through, eat things that really don't soak up a lot of water like apples and kale and celery, or high insoluble fiber foods that you tolerate if you're low FODMAP or you're on another type of diet. And also eat MOP type of soluble fiber. So that can be found in things that do soak up water if you were to leave them in water. Think of your beans and your whole grains and seeds like chia and flax and certain fruits that would puff up a little bit more if you were to leave them in water. So you want to make sure you're getting in both of those types of fiber every single day. And then, there are other foods that have been shown to contain nutrients that help with those liver
Mhm.
detoxification pathways. So making sure you're eating enough B vitamins or getting in enough B vitamins, vitamin C. You want to get in enough antioxidants, especially sulfur rich antioxidants if you tolerate them. So, eating things like broccoli sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels, asparagus, all these are really, really supportive to the liver. So you want to make sure you're eating a wide variety of these foods every single day. And then some studies have also shown that bitter foods can help support the release of bile from the gallbladder. So it
Mhm.
helps with that flow of things because you don't want a stagnant gallbladder, because things will kind of tend to backflow in that sense. So eating bitter foods has been shown in some studies to help squeeze out a little bit more of that bile. Every time you eat, your gallbladder wants to squeeze out at least 35% of its contents. So studies have shown that bitter foods help to do that. They kind of acidify the gut a little bit temporarily, and it's that stomach acid that enters the first part of the small intestine that says, hey, gallbladder, it's time for you to shine. It's time for you to bring that bile into the small intestine. So whether that's adding vinegar to your food, having bitter roots like turmeric
Ah.
and ginger or turnips and radish, or you can have chicory or dandelion, arugula, things like that that you can tolerate. All of those are really great for the liver. And I want to
Mhm.
say not to bog the liver down. So not only do we want to be mindful of helping with that daily detox, you also don't want to overwhelm the liver. So many studies show that fructose can overwhelm the liver. High amounts of carbohydrates, especially highly refined, hyper processed foods, can overwhelm the liver a
Mm.
bit as well. And then, really, just overconsumption of calories can tend to overwhelm the liver as
Mhm.
well, because when our body taps out, we'll use carbs, we'll use protein, we'll use fats, and then we can store some away in different places. Like we'll store extra carbs in our muscles, in our brain, in the liver as well. But then when those storage units are kind of to their max, the body has to get creative. So it will convert any of these extra calories, carb, protein, or fat calories, into something called triglycerides, which are a type of fat, if you will. And that can be stored in the blood, and that can also be stored in the liver. So you don't
Mhm.
want to overwhelm your liver with too much of that fructose, too many of those refined foods, or just too many calories in general, because that's why we're hearing more and more now about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Or I've had more patients, unfortunately, recently been even diagnosed with liver steatosis, which is kind of the next progressed step where they're
Mm.
having hardening of the liver. And it's not, uncommon for those same patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver or liver steatosis, which can then progress into other things like even further hardening, like cirrhosis or liver cancer. But it's not uncommon for even those with those first two stages to have things like hormonal imbalance. A lot of those patients of mine who are dealing with those things are also dealing with infertility or irregular menstrual cycles or fibrous breast tissue or other types of precancerous symptoms or
Dahlia's on a
precancers.
roll. We could do a whole talk on liver
I'm
and gut.
passionate about this.
Dahlia's
I'm
on a roll.
fired up about this because it's near and dear to my heart, right?
Yeah.
I have been somebody who has dealt with hormonal imbalance in my life. I'm somebody with a high family history of cancers, hormone positive cancers, breast cancer, and it's not genetic. None of us carry that BRCA gene. But I do have, 4 or 5 female family members who have had breast cancer. So I really feel like it's more lifestyle than genetic in my family. So it's something that I'm so passionate about.